Dr. Blatherwick. Go
I
ahead.
only have a few very brief questions that relate to the issue on the agenda. I have one preliminary question to you, Your Worship, in advance of those questions. I'm delighted to have in our presence today a director from the board of Coast Mountain, standing at the podium right now, Mr. Rudberger, director of the Coast Mountain bus system. Either at the end of this item or under inquiries, am I permitted to ask Mr. Rudberg some questions relating to the transit dispute?
You can inquiries and other matters?
Thank you. Now, regarding the water, a couple of brief questions. I'm quite concerned and quite interested in the last paragraph on Mr. Blatherwick's report. He indicates that there is a statistical relationship between turbidity and increased reports of GI illnesses. Do you have any comment on that?
Certainly that's the Health Canada study, I think, that's being referenced there. That is a statistical analysis that I'm not quite sure we understand fully what that means, because the area of higher statistics was in Coquitlam. But I think the biggest change is that study was done between 92 and 96. And certainly since that time, there has been significant public investment in improvements in the water system and further ones that have been instituted within, or will be within the next few years. So the question is, is the relationship still valid? Can we say with certainty that after these improvements that there's still a relationship between turbidity and illness? Don't know those answers. I can't say for any certainty. But that's, I guess, a measure of risk, and that's hopefully where we can gather some additional information.
Fair enough, as I'd understood it. And certainly, Dr. Blatherwick will correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a MSP printout done of all admittances to emergency departments from people with GI problems reported to the emergency department as a result of gastrointestinal problems. Correlation between an increase in those admissions and higher turbidity. In other words, if we plot on a graph the different times during the year that turbidity happened to be particularly bad, lo and behold, at that very same time, we have a spiking in the graph, so to speak, of admissions to hospitals from people with GI problems. And I guess wearing my health board hat, I'd like to see the reduction in those costs, if that would result from better treatment of our water. The only other question I've got is this. If we're going to proceed with filtration at Capilano sooner or later in any event, is it not more cost effective to do it sooner, saving the 80 million that we'd otherwise spend on ozonization, as opposed to spending 80 million on the ozonization and then proceeding sooner or later in any event with filtration?
I think the analysis shows that the break-even point is 2011. If in fact you're going to make a decision to proceed with filtration at Capilano before 2011, you wouldn't make the investment in ozonation facilities. If you're going to do it after 2011, then you would proceed with ozonation at this point in time. The original schedule, as time went on, that filtration was going to be done at Capilano was 2020. So therefore, the decision was made that, in fact, ozonation is a worthwhile investment.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Bass, and then we're going to hear from Dr. Blatherwick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The